Are sports no longer fun for kids? Do parents and coaches put too much pressure on teens to perform? Is society putting too much emphasis on winning and not enough on the actual competition? It's Your Call looks at the agony of winning right now. You know, we've all heard the expression, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. But the agony of winning? That just doesn't sound right, does it? Yet my guest this hour says it aptly describes how many young people in this country feel about playing sports these days. Hi there, everyone. I'm Lynn Doyle. You know, we have all heard the horror stories, or perhaps we've even lived them, about those crazy parents on the sidelines screaming at their kids, screaming at the coaches, even the referees get it. And more we're hearing about kids quitting sports even after years of playing in youth sports, summer camps, and travel teams. So I'm asking you the question, do you think the two have anything in common? Well, my guest says there is a direct correlation between adult behavior and kid burnout when it comes to sports. Meet Kevin Toohey. He's an athlete himself, a life coach, and an author, including his newest book, The Agony of Winning: 7 Strategies for Winning Bigger with Greater Freedom, Spirit, and Integrity. Kevin, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here also, Lynn.
You know, the title of your book captured my attention right away. The agony of winning. Those two words don't seem like they should be in the same sentence.
They sure, and I think there was a period of time where they weren't in the same sentence. I think that I've seen such a muted response to winning over the last 15 to 20 years, having been a college basketball basketball coach myself. It alarmed me how a muted response that I saw to winning in athletes. So I started investigating, looking at it. And after years and years of pressure and travel teams and trophies and parents vicariously living through the student athlete from the youngest of age, we're slapping uniforms on young people when they're 5 and 6 and 7 years old. And so what happens is that by the time they're in their teens, there's this muted response to athletics at all.
So really, there's not so much the thrill of competition or even the thrill of winning. Now you're saying that kids are succumbing to the pressure and winning actually is becoming painful?
Yes, because of the overtraining, the overcommitment, the overcoaching. There's no playgrounds anymore in America where young people are learning on their own and having fun and growing and experimenting, and creativity is gone, and also the leadership that emerged it's all parent driven, it's all coach driven.
How do we get there? Because I have to say, you know, I played sports when I was a kid, both in recreational leagues and in high school, you know, on varsity level. My parents, if they got to 1 or 2 games a season, it was a special occasion. How did we get to the point where now the parents are involved from the earliest age, as you point out, and on all levels? Yeah,
it's such a great question. I think there's a few answers. I think one of them is parents are vicariously living through their student athletes at an unprecedented pace, and they really want a piece of the action. The other thing is, as the playground started drying up, parents said, well, we have to step in, and rather than having Junior or Alice get out the door and play on their own, we better organize this, we better get uniforms. And the other thing is, there's this trickle down from the highest levels down, where it's not sport unless there's a uniform, wristband, spikes, and a schedule, and official practices. Then it's not sports if it's not those. We've lost the journey and the process of athletics in a big way. We've reduced it to games and winning.
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because I felt like for my kids when they were growing up that I wanted them to be involved because it kind of kept them out of trouble. Like, that was the thought, okay, it'll keep them off drugs, it'll teach them teamwork, you know, it'll give them something to do. But I do have to admit that after a while it really did become overwhelming, and it kind of, controlled our lives for the time that the kids were during a certain age.
Yes, and I don't think the important thing is, why I wrote the book is I know we're not going back to that. We're not going back to free play. We're not going back to playgrounds. So then what do we do? Do we just talk about it like you and I, or do we get a solution? So I want to provide a solution, and I think I have one.
Well, we're going to talk about what that solution is in just a minute, but I do want to invite our viewers to be part of our conversation. If you want to tell us your personal experience, you can go ahead and email me at lynn@lynndoyle.net. You can also find us on Facebook, MySpace, or YouTube. We do ask the question, do you think that parents are too involved? Do you think that they overcompensate, that they are trying, as Kevin says, to live through their children? And if you've had an experience with that, and you want to tell us about it, we'd love to hear from you. I'm going to read those responses that we get in just a minute, but question of how we got here, we talk about this baby boomer generation of parents who are now living vicariously through their kids. Is it because like we grew up saying, well, gee, I'd really like to emulate some of the athletes that are out there. I wasn't able to do it, but my kid can do it. Or is it more, I'd like my kid to be what I never was, a big star, maybe get a scholarship, take some of the pressure off me as a parent to get them through school? Which of the two do you think it is?
Well, I think the scholarship thing, I'd like to talk about that for a minute, because that's huge. 1.6% of all high school athletes ever play in college, but 96% of parents think that they can.
Yeah. So everybody thinks they have the next future Hall of Famer, right?
Yes, from the age of 6 now. So the individual trainers, once again, the overcommitment to training, the coaches, because they're going to get a scholarship. Only 1.6% are even playing. That's on all levels.
How about that? Now I'm going to read some of the responses.
Yes.
I asked that question and already we've gotten some responses. People are, they say it's parents who are ruining youth sports. That exactly as Kevin is saying, that parents think that every one of their children is a star. I mean, we do want to encourage our kids.
Yes.
We want them, if they have
Yes.
the opportunity, to excel. But
Yes.
can we really tell that as early as 5 or 6 or even 10 or 12 years old?
Well, I have a different solution. How about this? How about we put the intrinsic value of participating in athletics as a core value for people participating? What if we took the pressure off the end, or whether it was going to result in a scholarship? What if we said that teaching character, that teamwork, that contribution to a bigger whole, that you cared about as much about your teammate as you did you? What if we balanced winning, because winning is important, but what if we balanced that with the intrinsic value that education can teach unto itself, regardless of the outcome of the games or whether someone gets scholarship? That's the main thing that's missing. That's my solution.
You have an interesting example in your book where you talk about asking a kid who lost a game if they still had fun.
Yes.
And if they enjoyed the experience, and they said yes. And you said, well, there's the answer right there. As long as you're enjoying it and you're having fun, whether you won or not didn't really alter the individual's character. So I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
We've posed the question to a couple of people who had some experience with Kevin's philosophy. We're going to go to the telephone now and talk to one of them. Joining us is Temple University's head football coach, Al Golden. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hi, Lynn. How you doing? Kevin, how are you?
Hi, Coach. How are you?
We're glad to have you with us. Why do you think that so many kids are burning out at either the high school or the college level these days?
Well, I mean, it's all outcome oriented. It's either win or don't participate, and I think that's a flawed philosophy. And I think Kevin brings it, into focus. I kind of call Kevin the fog cutter. He keeps you on task. He keeps you on the process, and really reminds you daily of what you're in this business for, and that's to educate, and that's to teach the kids how to compete and how to move forward.
But Al, in your position particularly, and at all college level sports, I mean, the pressure on you guys to win is huge. I mean, you're there to win. You're not there to just play and have a good time, right?
You're exactly right. But if you lose focus of the process and you're not a values-based organization, you're gonna lose your way anyway. You're gonna lose, and you're gonna have behavioral issues, you're going to have academic issues, you're going to have people that don't represent the community in the right way, and that's losing behavior, Lynn. That's where the problem is. Winning behavior begets winning, and that's what Kevin's philosophy is all about.
Okay, so talk about this winning behavior very quickly. How early should we start to emphasize that with our athletes?
Well, number one, I talk to coaches all around the tri-state area when I do clinics in the off season. The first thing I say is, if you want to go from 10 wins to a championship season, if you want to go from 7 wins to 10 wins, or if you want to go from 1 or 2 wins, which is where we started from, to a bowl team, I think look outside the realm of sport. Winning behaviors, can be had all around us. In other words, the way we prepare our off-season program,
right.
Academics, and ultimately, that could be the difference. There's a lot of coaches out there that put their ego in the way, and they say, well, it's my system, it's my X's and O's that are going to be the difference. The reality is it's empowering the kids to make good decisions on and off the field, and to carry that empowerment and make good decisions on the field.
And never too early to start. We'll start with the youngest ones and hope that it carries through their entire sports careers. Al, thanks so much for being with us. I appreciate it.